I bid you all good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. 'Tis I, Mike Martins, broadcasting from beautiful, sunny, I got my window open, Merritt, British Columbia. Anyways, so this is a new article that was sent to me by several people. It's by the Urban Developer, and it's talking about Australia's housing market is severely unaffordable. Now, we've read articles on here on the channel. If you're ever bored, guys, if you're ever bored, go ahead and join the channel if you can. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to. Go over here to my channel. Find this magnifying glass. Type in Australia. And you're going to be in a world of stuff. Australia to ban immigrants settling in Sydney and Melbourne. Civil chaos. Australia's 133 billion property slide. Sydney man leaves to Mexico. That's a call-in. 10 reasons why I'm leaving Australia. There's so many. 10K cash ban. And then you go into the housing. Oh my God. There's so much housing here for Australia. Lots of Australia discussion here. Interest-only housing crisis. Australians housing do not buy anything. There's lots of stuff. Australia realtors want more Chinese. Guys, it just goes on and on. I've been covering the Australian housing market for about 6 years now. When I started seeing the patterns in the Commonwealth with foreign investing basically taking over the entire English-speaking world. So check that out. Check out the channel if you can. So now, we've discussed homeowners in Australia are working deals with their banks to get vouchers at the banks, to go to the food bank to get free food so people don't fall behind on the mortgages. So, again, people that can afford to buy food, but they're homeowners because their house broke. Now, here's the problem with this. The poor and the middle class are still, or the working poor middle class, whatever you want to call it, is basically paying for this because their food is being donated to someone that played the game. Someone that got into this property market ladder at the wrong time, and now they're paying. Oh, Mike, but prices are going up. Well, we're going into a massive melt-up. I did a massive melt-up video discussing this a few weeks ago, almost a month and a half ago, actually, in November, discussing the massive melt-up we're going, and you're going to start seeing it around the entire Commonwealth. The only places more expensive to live than some Australian biggest cities are Hong Kong and Vancouver, according to global ranking system. And Hong Kong is predominantly Chinese. Vancouver is predominantly Chinese. Like, that's what's happening, and we got to call a spade a spade. Sydney ranked 3rd and Melbourne 4th compared to 309 housing markets across the 8 countries in the annual Demographia International Housing Affordability Survey. This has created so much damage in Australia that people are holding back from getting married, holding back from laying roots, holding back from having children, holding back from expanding their family, and then the federal government cries, old little Scotty there starts crying that our population is going down. Our population is dwindling. Well, then that's fine. Let it dwindle a bit. Let it plateau. Let it go down. Let markets correct, let things settle, and let the Australian proper at least have some kids and pass down what it means to be an Australian. Jeez, man. Hong Kong topped the list, followed by Vancouver, Sydney, Melbourne, Taraunga-Western Bay of Plenty in New Zealand, Los Angeles, Toronto, Auckland, San Jose, and the 5 cities tied for 14th place, including Sunshine Coast. Other Australian regions make up 50%. 50 on the list were Gold Coast, 18th, Geelong, 24th, Hobart, 31st. Now you're wondering, Hobart, that's Tasmania. What the heck? Well, everybody left Sydney and moved to Hobart with the Sydney mass exodus. I did a whole video, get out of Sydney, like 3-4 years ago. Get out of Sydney. It's going to be a poop storm. Well, what if I bought? Well, you would have tapped into your home equity. Eventually, you would have been tempted, and you would have just been playing this game, and you would have been maxed out if you bought at the right time. Most people say, I could have bought at the right time. I could be up 300,000, Mike, or 400,000. Sure, but how much of that equity would you have left alone? How much of that equity would you have not touched? Adelaide, 34th, Fraser Coast, 41st, Canberra and Brisbane together, 44th, Perth and Ballard, 49th. There are only one affordable market in Australia, which is Gladstone, pacing 281st or 29th as the most affordable city. The houses were ranked by median multiple house prices divided by income. Now, remember, for every dollar that Australians have a disposable income, they actually owe $2.03. It used to be $1.98 and it just reached the $2 plateau. Now it's like $2.03 or 8 cents right now. It's just like $2.10. They have a dwindling dollar. The housing market's doing good because a lot of foreign investing has gotten back. A lot of people are finding ways to move their money off out of communist China, while their money is still holds some sort of value or is still recognized. I spoke to a Chinese investor who basically invested in a lot of Seattle properties, and he told me that his number one fear was the fear that the world markets or other markets won't recognize the Chinese dollar and maybe take it and just say it's no longer recognized as a world currency. And that's what a lot of people are afraid of, and also afraid of moving their money out or their wealth out or getting their family out of communist China. So this is a slight improvement of affordability for Sydney, which ranked 11.7 last year, while Melbourne remained the same. In contrast, Gladstone ranked 2.8 and most affordable cities in Fort McMurray in Canada 1.8, Periosa, USA 2.1, and Davenport, USA 2.2. The report said Australia's 5 major housing markets were severely unaffordable, with prices doubling since the early 2000s. Despite what has been called the largest Sydney price reduction in 35 years, house prices relative to incomes are more than double the rate of the early 1980s. So what does that mean? Basically, if you go to the early 1980s, that's when wages stopped keeping up with inflation. Capitalism works if wages keep up with inflation, but they don't. Report authors Wendell Cox and Hug Pavelton said, in Sydney and Melbourne, median income households need at least 3 years or more income to pay a medium-priced house in 2004, when the first Demographia survey was published. So guys, people have to work like 25 years now to afford to put a down payment on their house, because as they keep saving, their currency becomes more and more devalued. That's why a lot of people are jumping onto crypto markets. People are jumping onto gold, silver, all kinds of different avenues that people are looking for to hold their money, because they are in fear right now, especially with Australia trying to ban the 10K, and then they're going to start to get it to 5 and the 2K deposits or cash deposits or withdrawals. Then they're going to try and do all kinds of stuff. And the sad part is the people that actually pay for these banks and keep these banks afloat are the ones that pay all these fees and overdraft and all this other garbage. They're screwing the people over, the ones that keep the banks afloat. So Australia, in my opinion, across the Commonwealth, is basically the number one country when it comes to with no confidence in their banking system, especially with all the fiasco with Westpac and all the other big banks and what's happened across the board. It's scary, guys. It is scary. Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's really, 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 really tough especially with the big fires. We covered the fires on our channel here on Mike in the Night. If you guys want to come and be part of the channel, we got Mike in the Night here. We covered the Australian fires right here. We had call-ins. We had about 5 people call in from Australia. We got trends in the housing market every Wednesday, my hour, and a bunch of stuff on the channel. You guys wanted to, I got over 4,000 videos, been posting over 6-7 years now. Majority of it is housing, but it is basically a wake-up call for a lot of people. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, especially if you're down under, if you're in Australia. Tell us what's going on, because we're hearing a lot of great things happening in Australia about how basically housing is reaching record numbers and increasing in pricing. I believe that it's a melt-up, and I believe a lot of it has to do with a lot of last-minute foreign injection of cash flow. Mike Martin signing off. Don't forget to join the channel here if you'd like to, and don't forget to pick up a t-shirt or something from the show. I appreciate your support, and please, if you want to contact me, I've been contacted many times from people here. Here it is. There's my link right there. You could go to the top of my YouTube channel, and you will see my link up there on Facebook if you want to message me on Facebook, and you could message me directly. Anyways, guys, let me know. Comment below. Thanks for watching.